Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another haircut tutorial. In this video we're going to be doing a huge transformation haircut on my son, but we're going to start off here by just shampooing and conditioning his hair. Anytime I'm doing a major transformation like this, I always like to clean the hair, start with a fresh canvas. So we're making a big change today on my son's hair just because we've kept it about 2-3 inches on top before, and he's not real great about combing it like he needs to in the morning, and it just ends up fanning out all over the place, looking kind of messy. So I really wanted to try something shorter, a lot more manageable for him, so he won't be looking like a hot mess going to school every day. So after we washed it, we're going to go ahead and blow dry it so we can get into this mid-skin fade transformation here. I'm kind of blow drying it in every direction here so we can get it to kind of lose its memory. And then getting right into a number 6 guard on top, going against the grain. I'm going to get this hair nice and even all to one length up top, and I really thought a number 6 was the right guard for the job. And if y'all would do me a favor, go check out my Instagram page. It's 50 spelled out, Blades of Gray. Y'all can go check out some of my work on there. So getting right into our first guideline here, we're going to use no guard with the lever completely closed. Flip that clipper over and go ahead and set in our initial bald line. And before we get too much further into the video, I wanted to mention to you guys the owner of the shop and a good friend of mine I met in barber school named Griff. He started his own YouTube channel now. I kind of helped him out with learning some of the editing with Premiere Pro, and he's just super excited about getting into the YouTube stuff. So y'all go check him out. His channel is called Griff the Great. Y'all go show him some love. So continuing with that initial guideline here, we're putting it in the exact same spot on the other side of the head. Again, I'm flipping my clipper over to set in that guideline, and then I'm going to come up underneath it about a 1/2 inch and clear some of that bulk so we can flick into it with our trimmer. So moving right along here using our Babyliss Gold FX trimmer, we're going to go ahead and clear out the rest of that bald section, flicking right underneath that guideline that we just set. And again, we're keeping that trimmer real tight up until we get near that guideline, and then we're going to start flicking out about a 1/2 inch underneath that. Another quick update on the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We're just about there now, so hopefully in the next couple days I'll be putting out a video letting you guys know who the winner is. And so right up underneath our trimmer section now, we're going to follow that up with our Gold FX shaver. Again, we're just applying pressure towards the bottom, and as we work our way towards the top and near that trimmer section, we're going to start flicking out, releasing pressure. And guys, a lot of times what I'm doing with the shaver is using both foil heads whenever I'm clearing bulk towards the bottom, and then as I get towards the top, I'll normally use one of the heads. So now I'm going to slap a 2 guard on. We're going to go ahead and level the playing field here. I like to use the 2 guard close a lot of times to kind of set a foundation for the fade, because I feel like it's a pretty good length to set your guidelines in. You're not going to get lost, and you're not going to have to work through a whole lot of bulk. And then following that 2 guard, we can go ahead and put our 1/2 guard on. We're going to use the 1/2 attack again, and the reason I'm using the 1/2 attack on this particular fade is because my son's hair is actually very difficult to fade, and that his hair lays flat against his head. So I want to go in with a closed blade, so that way it's picking up the hair and feeding it through the guard. And immediately after that 1/2 guard closed, which is just a little bit longer than a no guard open, we're going to go ahead and with no guard on, we're going to close our lever halfway and start flicking about halfway into that section. So I am using the caliber 50 cal mag. This is the 2nd generation of the 50 cal. I've gotten a lot of good use out of these. I've got the fade blade on there, and I really like the fade blade for knocking out these real skin tight fades. So you guys are going to see here in a minute, after I work this whole section with the lever halfway open, I'm going to drop down to the bottom where we set in that initial bald line, With the lever closed, I'm going to start flicking out. And especially with a fade blade with its zero gap like I've got it, it shouldn't be a problem at all getting that line out. And you guys can see as I work my way around that section, if there's any dark areas, I'm going to go ahead and notch at those with just the corner of my blade. And then right underneath where we set that 2 guard closed, we're going to go in with a 1 guard open. And right now I'm not looking to set in a harsh guideline. What you really want to do is flick out towards the top of that section in order to minimize the work on yourself later on. So right after I set that section in with a 1 open, where we didn't really create a harsh guideline, I'm going to go right up underneath that, start flicking at that middle line with a 1 guard closed. And that's going to minimize the amount of effort that we have to put into it when we go back to our half guard and do our detail work. So now with that half guard on, I consider this kind of an in-between guard. You don't really want to set in a guideline per se with it, but you want to start flicking into that 1 open section that you were just working in. And I'm going to start with the lever open, just flicking out, really using a lot of corners, just trying to hit dark areas. And then as I work my way down with any other guard, we're going to close the lever all the way and flick underneath that. So last but not least, you're going to see a little bit of weight remaining between that 1 open and the 2 closed. So we're going to go in with a 1.5 guard. Just go ahead and close the lever all the way and really just flick out right above that 1 open section. And that should take out a lot of that darkness in between the 1 open and the 2 closed section. And again, here I can see a little bit of darkness still. So I'm going to go back in with a 1 open. Before you move on, always take a step back. If you can go ahead and knock out some detail work, make sure you go ahead and do so before you move on. And moving along to the other side, I'm going to speed this up quite a bit. Same exact steps. We're going to start with our trimmer, balding out the bottom area, go back with our shaver to get it razor bald at the bottom. Again, just making sure we're flicking out. If there's any remnants of a line between the shaver and the trimmer, you can actually take one of the foils and kind of lightly touch on that line, and it'll help dissipate that and blend the two together. So again, you guys can see me using the 2 guard closed to kind of set the baseline for the fade on the other side, but all the steps are going to remain the exact same. So y'all just ride out to the music. Type a comment down below if y'all have any questions in the meantime. Alright, and coming to the end of this process, now that we've laid a good foundation for this fade, we're going to go back and do a little bit of detail work now. So starting with some clipper over comb, just attacking a little bit of that weight in the parietal ridge area, just seeing if we can blend that out a little bit more. And y'all don't be afraid to use your lever when you're doing clipper over comb. There's a lot of times I'll go in with an open lever if I'm a little bit higher up, or if I want to get it a little bit tighter, a little more precise towards the bottom of the fade, I'll close the lever, and that'll really just add a lot of versatility to your detail work. And then you can see me here with a 1 guard again, just notching at some dark spots, and I'm kind of using a fade down process in terms of where I've got the lever at. So as I'm up higher in the blend, I've got my lever open, and as I work my way down, you know, if I see a dark spot that I can't quite get out, I'll close the lever a little bit more, keep attacking it. And sometimes there's going to be some real abnormal dark spots where you can't really follow the system. You'll kind of have to just trust your eye and cut to color rather than cut into the system. So like here, you can see I'm taking that half guard up pretty high in some of these areas in order to knock out some of these dark spots. And that's really just about training your eye. You really want to develop an eye for seeing those dark spots and knowing what it takes to get those dark spots out. So moving right along to the edge up, we're gonna do a light edge up on his C-cup area here, and I'm gonna use my comb to hold back that hair in the bang area, just so I can get these vertical bars. So here on the left side of his head, you can see a technique I've been using quite a bit that I took away from S-Craft Blend's channel, where he teaches the shear over comb, but really just using the point of the shears to attack some of those dark areas, and that really helps tie the blend together. And so here, guys, is something that I haven't done on my son before, and I kept stepping back looking at the haircut, and I just kind of made a decision to go ahead and line up the front here. It really helps. Even though we took a 6 guard against the grain up top, his hair actually lays really well on his forehead. It lays pretty flat, so it makes for a really clean edge up. So as always, I kind of start from the center, work my way to the left side, and now you can see I'm working my way to the right side, and then we'll connect it with the vertical bars up in the corners. Now I did have one issue on this haircut, and that was his right vertical bar here. For whatever reason, it's just, I guess, the way that the hair lays right there. It's really hard to get that nice and tight right there. So I had to hit that for a while to get it how I wanted it. So anyways, here is the before look, guys. He was looking pretty rough. That longer hair on top was just not being maintained on a daily basis, so we wanted to go shorter with it to make it easier on him. So here's the final product, guys. Here is the after look, and I think it turned out great on him. I think it's a cool new look for him, something a lot easier to maintain, something he can get in the shower, hop out, be ready to go for school, and really it's just about having a more presentable look for him. So you know how kids are. I don't want anybody, you know, messing with him because his hair's a little messy in the morning. So I think this will be a lot better for him in the long term. So as always, if y'all enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys in the next one.